Hello guys, it's your favorite full damage Vi player, I hope. Welcome to the new season. So Split 2 is starting. So Season 2, they welcome us nicely. I've already gone through a lot of the changes, at least the big changes, so I can break it down for you so you don't have to waste time doing it. I've already done it for you. What this going to mean for the new season and what kind of changes we need to make, especially as junglers, like what is the game going to look like. But for everyone, I'm going to explain what they're doing about the Wraith, the bounty system, all of that. So there's a lot of changes. I'm excited to get into it. Let's just get it done so we can move into ranked. And if you do learn what is going to happen early on, you might be able to farm some free LP, especially now there's no reset to the season in your ranks. So you're just going to keep on playing the same rank. You have the same LP gains. There's nothing that's going to change, but maybe if you figure out the season before everyone else, you can get some free LP and maybe get the rank up you always wanted. So let's see what it's about. So their welcome is to Spirit Blossom map. That's going to be really cool. So Spirit Blossom is changing, and there's a lot of other changes that we're going to go through. And so first, it's the map. It's actually looking pretty cool. I played it on PB yesterday. It's quite pretty. So I like it. It's looking good. Then there's the passes. I don't really care about these. I don't buy them. I'm broke. So yeah, there's passes and stuff. You can check that out for yourself. Then there's Thornbound Aquathon, which is apparently corrupted by black rolls. So now there's only one form of Aquathon, and it's looking pretty strong. We're gonna have to see more what it's about, but I know what it's supposed to do. So there's still the pedals, still the adaptive force that still works in the same way, which I kind of like. I think it's cool. But you also, when you take it, you're gonna absorb all the left standing pedals on the map, and you're gonna get an increase in XP and adaptive force from it. So that's kind of similar to what it was. It's not all the spawning plants, so we don't have to deal with that. You don't have to just like, you get a ban and you get stuck killing them by yourself. So that's pretty nice. That was just like annoying. And now it's more about also just like, if you get a smite win, you actually get it. So as before, it was more important to win the fight. Now, as a jungler at least, you can more suicide to get the buff, and it's actually going to be quite good. As of before, if you suicided, got the smite, it didn't really make that big of a difference, especially if you didn't have any drakes, because it didn't buff the drakes. And the enemy team will just get all the plants, which is what mattered the most. So now it's going to be more important to win the smite steal. That's good or bad news for junglers. If you're good at smiting, it's going to be good for you. And then there's the new buff that is changed, which is when you get takedowns, when you kill the enemy team, it's going to be some sort of like small explosion, or like it's going to bless the area around the target that you killed, and it's going to do 15% current HP damage. So if that's an Ornn with full HP, it's going to do 15% of its HP. In adaptive force, so it's, the resistance is going to stop. It's not true damage, but still, that's a lot of damage. So in team fights, for example, for assassins, I thought this was actually, and it's also going to slow everyone around it. So I actually thought this was a really bad change for all melee champs and assassins, because I thought it was like a permanent slow, but it's actually on takedowns. So if you, for example, play an assassin or a dive champion, you dive into the back line, you kill one of them, it's actually going to be an explosion around that person, and it's going to slow everybody. So for Vi, especially for Assassin Vi and Vi in general, I think this is actually kind of good, because you can dive in, you can assassinate somebody, you can slow everyone around there and get a little bit of explosive damage, and you can maybe get out or at least get off some more damage on the rest of them. So I think this is looking pretty interesting, cool. It's going to be exciting to see how it plays out. It seems kind of strong, this new Arcathon, so I think it's going to be really important. So yeah, there's that. Then we're moving on to the bounty system, which I think it is getting some very nice changes. I think they did a good job with this. The bounty system was kind of bad, and it felt a little bit unfair, so I think they made a lot of adjustment that makes it feel a lot smoother and nicer. So now, especially when it goes, so it's meant to be calculating way better. It's going to be for the winning team, and if you're really strong on the map, you get the enemy bounty, and now it's going to shift, so it's not. And it's also going to have higher bounties, so the comeback potential is actually greater. I don't know how I feel about this. If it's more accurate, I think it's going to be nice, because before you got really punished if you were really accelerated. And even though your team didn't do well, like I was doing really well in the jungle, I hadn't died yet, playing amazing. And then suddenly I'm playing as a bunch of other strong champions as well, with not as big a bounties because their team is not that far ahead, but they're far ahead as a team, but not like one guy who's super far ahead, so there's no big bounty there. So if I end up losing my bounty because the enemy team is quite strong and actually winning in gold, I die in a team fight. For example, if I play one of these like diving aggressive champions, they end up getting my bounty, and now the team is just like, now it's so impossible to win. So I think that's a good champion that made some nice changes there. Is going to be better for these more champions who can die easily when even though you're quite fed. So for a Vi, like I play, I think it's going to be nicer. They also buffed the, or like changed the objective bounties. So now scrap the gold part. And now it's actually, you're going to get 10% of the gold difference on top of the base bounty payment. But it's capped at 1,000. So if the enemy team has a 10,000 gold, that's pretty unlikely. You can get a cash in of 1,000 gold on that if you take an objective. It's going to be lower for those outer turrets. That is quite easy to take. So for inner turrets, it's going to be bigger because they're harder. The same goes for dragons and herald barons and such. So it's going to be based now more on the team gold. It's going to be also buffed. Also, the system in itself, it's like the tuning, as we can see here, it's going to be based on levels. And kills and assists are buffed, so it's going to be increased, and farming is also increased. So yeah, the bounties are going to be quite volatile, but they're supposed to be more flexible and feel better now, so it's not so inconsistent as it kind of have felt, and it's more based on the team gold, which is quite good, because yeah, if you're trying to 1v9 and you end up giving a bounty, it's going to be impossible to win. Now I think it's supposed to be better, and I think it will be, so that's going to be exciting. I like the changes they made here. And then there's the epic void monsters. So grubs, it's only going to spawn one grub. I actually thought it was 10 minutes. They set it at 8 minutes, which I do think is a good thing. But there's only one round of grubs, so it's going to spawn 3. So obviously those 3 now have been buffed, or like each individual grub has been buffed. So it's getting 1 does more damage than having 1 before. That makes complete sense. But now for getting the feats buff for taking the objective, now you have to get 2 out of 3. So if you win the grubs, you get more than the enemy team. You get 2. You're gonna get the feats benefit, so it counts as an objective as before. You get 2 drakes and you get 2 grubs. You got that feature of monsters, or what it's called, which is quite nice. So the dot damage is buffed, obviously, and then now if you get 3, now you still get the 1 voidling that is gonna attack. So you get that buff. So you don't need like, it's obviously just 3. If the enemy team gets 2, there's only the old buff, but a little bit stronger. So I think this is a good change. I didn't really mind the whole like overwhelming amount of objectives. I kind of liked it. I feel like the game was more complicated, more dynamic maybe. You can play more top bot. It didn't really matter. You just played to what suited the game. But it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. So the 8-minute timing is it's going to be exciting, because now you had quite a lot of time to play the Drake actually before the grub spawn. So maybe it's going to encourage more fighting, because now you have more time to play for the Drake. Both teams have to play for the Drake, because there's nothing else to get as of before, unless you took the Drake exactly on spawn and then just run to grubs. You didn't have time to contest both. Unless you shut down the jungler and they couldn't really play it. So now it's going to be harder to trade. As before, it was quite common for just like enemy jungler has a winning bot lane maybe. You have a winning top lane, you're going to play with the grubs, they're going to play the Drake, it's just going to trade. So we might be able to see some more aggressive champions coming to light. But the bounty system makes for good comebacks as well. So that's kind of even things out. But for junglers, it's not unlikely that there's going to be some more ganking junglers and more aggressive junglers who can really be strong at these fights. And also, since there's less objectives to do, there's less farming in general, because you can't just like full clear, take the objectives, and there's always something to take on the former patch. Now it's going to be more downtime, and that incentivizes more aggressive junglers who can gank better. Not just play Lilia and just like farm, take the grubs, farm, take the grubs. If you can also get a Drake, that's nice, but they just like farm and get as much farm as possible. Now you might be seeing some more aggressive ganking journeys, so that might come more into fruition, I guess. Now there's the Rift Herald. It's now set to 15-minute spawn. So it's not the single target debuff anymore, so it's going to be easier to solo the Rift Herald. That is quite nice. I had some trick to work around that, but anyways, it's going to be nice. So they nerfed the big auto attack, but then they buffed the normal basic attacks or something. I'm not currently sure what this means. But anyways, fixed non-champion attacks reducing Corona. I guess that was some sort of bug that was exploitable. But yeah, it spawns at 15. Now the first crash is going to do extra damage. So you want to make sure you don't use the first crash to take a turret with very low HP before you could just kind of take it. Use it, no value. If the turret is 30% HP, you're just going to take it, slam it, because it's going to do the same damage against the next turret. Now it's not that way anymore. For each for each charge, it's going to lower in damage. So the first charge is going to do most damage, and then it's going to be reduced for each time it gets hit. I think that's good, because you don't get these like massive snowballs where they could just like take 3 turrets. Now we also have to think a little bit when it comes to like how you use that first charge optimally. It's going to apparently feel nicer to drive it, so that's good for the poor drivers out there. But there's also apparently if you get stuck close to a turret, or if you miss, it's going to try to charge. I guess that makes up for the poor driving. We'll see. And then there's just like role swapping in general and position binding. So now the jungler is going to start with smite. It's going to be locked in. So there's not going to be so much like pre-game mistakes that just like, I forgot that I didn't have smite or something happened. It's supposed to be pre-picked, but now, yeah, you're avoiding those kind of mistakes. There's also only allowed to have 1 smite on the team, so that's like this annoying play styles with I don't really like it, to be honest. It's just like very frustrating and annoying. It doesn't feel good for either team, because playing with like a double jungler doesn't feel like nice, and playing against it feels horrible. So I think that's fine. This also makes up for, yeah, the pre-game mistakes. Now also the supports are going to start with World Atlas, so it's going to be, and they've tried to shut down the lane swapping, which is nice. I don't think it matters that much for solo queue, especially in lower elos, but still, they made some changes to the death screens. That's going to be interesting, so it's going to feel nicer apparently to be in the death screen. That's very good for me, because I'm dead a lot of the time, and for my stream, because yeah, half the game I'm dead, so at least it's going to be more interesting there. Kill streak effects, they actually got delayed. I'm excited for these. It doesn't feel that good to like get the multiple kills like in some FPS games and stuff. When you ramp up the kills, you get these like sound effects or maybe visual effects that are just like the stakes, I guess, feel higher. In League, it's kind of, you get the triple. It's just an announcement that is kind of just like going in the same cadence. So that's going to be interesting. It's not coming right now though. It's going to be delayed. They wanted to get it in, but apparently they needed some more time. And then there's the griefing updates, which they were really positive about. So hopefully it delivers. I've been really frustrating. I've had players yesterday, for example, somebody went like, yeah, 20 plus deaths. They're clearly not trying. They're just standing AFK in the bush somewhere. And it's just like very, very frustrating. So I hope that's going to fix some of that at least, make it better. Because yeah, it's been so easy to avoid the auto detection that has been in the system right now. So that's going to be interesting. Now, if you're chat bad, you're not going to be able to talk before or after the game. I guess that's good. And it's going to feel real bad. Season ranked is starting. It's supposed to have started right now, but apparently it's not live, so maybe there's a bug going on, but hopefully we can play soon. At least I have time to record this video. And now we're going to get into the champion changes. So Annie's getting more buffs to her damage. She got buffs on the last patch. Or were they not live on the last patch? Yeah, she is getting buffs. She's getting some big buffs. Holy moly. Yeah, Annie's going to be strong. These are good buffs. I actually thought she got like pretty decent buffs on the last patch as well. I think her win rate not being so high is people still building the wrong items on her. We saw this a lot with Ori as well. They like and Syndra, they made changes to force them into building more full damage items, and also get rewarded for that, but people didn't build it, so now they're going to be more rewarded. She's going to have a lot of bursts. I think she's going to be a low elo menace, so if you want to get some free LP there, I think Annie is going to be very high on the list. We got Ashe. She's getting some 80 ratios buffs and some attack speed buffs, so she's just going to feel stronger with the Q. I like that they're buffing the Q so we don't get this like support Ashe that is just so annoying. Gwen getting some nerfs, is going to be a little bit more squishy. Passive also getting some nerfs to the AP, which I think is good. Q also getting nerfs. Okay, so Gwen is getting quite hit, which I do like. The maximum damage so from 60 to 45. Okay, so Gwen with the full damage bursty build is going to be nerfed now. So like but I think she's going to build quite similar, but she might not go the Rabadons on third because her AP scalings are getting quite hit actually. So she might be opting for a little bit different items on the third and fourth. Maybe going more for the bruiser items, and she's going to feel more like a bruiser now than just like one-shotting everybody on 3 items. Because before she just went Nasher and the bruiser, oh my god, words, and then the Rabadons, and she was just a monster. So I think it's good that they're buffing, nerfing Gwen. Oh no, he's back. He's back. Do I need to roll the clip? No, I'm not gonna roll the clip, but I got the defending rant clip. Anyways, base damage buffed. Okay, whatever. That's kind of whatever. I guess he gets 2 of them. So it is something, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna make that big of a difference, to be honest. It's a pretty sizable buff at the late game though, but it goes Q into E, so I guess it's some extra late game damage. It's kind of whatever, I think, especially for solo Q, maybe for pro play it will matter. She's getting some base damage nerf, 80 growth though. That's interesting, but yeah, they're just targeting her early game, which makes sense. She's been pretty annoying. Nerfing the rend a little bit, not that much, but some. Leona getting a buff to her passive, 2.5 seconds. That's actually a pretty big buff. Okay, it's gonna be much easier to proc it now. Interesting. Q also getting a mana buff, and E getting a mana buff, so she's gonna be able to perma engage way more and not be so limited by mana, I guess. It's gonna be able to spam those and team fights also. And yeah, the passive getting buffs is, I think it's actually pretty gonna do a lot of damage because the passive does a lot of damage. So I think that makes a difference actually. I think Leona is also fine to begin with. Maybe not in the best spot, but I don't think she's bad. And then, oh my god, not this chick. She's getting a buff. Buffing the shield, I think that makes sense. There's a lot of damage, especially with the mages getting buffs. Or getting a pretty sizable buff. She also gets more movement speed, so it's going to be hard to kite her in the early game. This is on 25 damage. I guess it's like early game buff though to her R. Yeah, she's going to be, I mean, it makes sense. Like Morgana hasn't been in the meta at all as just like a very, very, very niche counter pick. She's been maybe somewhat useful, but yeah, I don't think she's... Her all-in is going to feel a lot better, I guess. And especially in the early levels. Hitting level 6, you can maybe all-in. But yeah, I don't think she's great. She's still going to be a very niche counter pick. Nafiri, I hope we're going to see some nerfs here. Yeah, we are. So cooldown nerfs. This will make a difference. That's a pretty big nerf. 4 seconds. I like that. Late game is going to be the same though. Which is fine, I suppose. The dash damage on E is getting a hit to the bonus AD. That doesn't make any sort of changes really. The nerfing in late game slightly, I guess, with the damage, but I don't think this is going to make a big difference. Some, but not a lot. It's only bonus too, so it's not total. Yeah, so I don't think this is it's not a big nerf. W is getting nerfed, which is kind of nice. It's an annoying ability. Mana. Orianna getting a mana buff, so now she can spam Q a little bit more, especially in the late game. I think that makes sense. She's pretty mana hungry. She's been going like double mana items sometimes, or at least Seraphs. Maybe she's going to be able to go like just like Ludens and not get the full Seraphs and go more into full damage builds like Ludens into Shadow Flame or Storm Surge into Rabadons and be more of a glass can one-shot mage, which he has been at different points in time. Rengar, recommended items updated for top and jungle, I see. Fair enough, fair enough. Shen, please no buffs. Please, 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 please. He's getting buffed. Yeah, it's gonna do more damage. I don't like that. I feel like it's already doing pretty good, but maybe I'm wrong. Happy with recent Shen buffs. Alright. Alright, he's super annoying. You might be seeing him in like jungle too, getting more of a damage in the clear. So I actually think Shen's creeping up in the jungle. I think he's doing quite well, so he might be playable. You might want to check that out. I don't know exactly what his clear speed is right now, but he's quite good. I think he's definitely playable jungle, especially now. We're getting some passive nerfs to Yorick. Good. Don't mind that at all. Willman smite display. Maybe ping to additional damage monster. Okay, so we can ping their ultimate to see what kind of damage they do. Ping them and display their damage to monster. Yeah, that is quite nice. Or like they can do it to others. I don't know if I can ping like my Cho'Gath top lane to see his damage so we can coordinate smites. But I think this is a good change though. It's gonna help with team play, especially since we don't have comps, right? It'll be kind of nice, maybe. A nerf to swiftness boost. Thank God these boots are broken. Holy moly, I'm abusing them, but still, I'm happy they're nerfed. I'm still gonna be buying them though, because like they're still really good. So yeah, and especially since they are getting nerfed on the full damage Vi build, I think this makes sense. No longer empowered recall. That is very interesting. Now I think it's gonna be more of a just like, yeah, exactly as they say. It's gonna be an option for supports now. Cheap boots, they can move around the map a lot, but now they're nerfing it for the laners that were just abusing it, just like clearing waves, reset, and not be able to lose a single minion. I think that was kind of a broken concept. They're getting more out of combat movement speed, so the jungle, they might still be fine as a solid, like, yeah, that kind of like an old mobility boots kind of thing. Which is fine, because they have powered recall, but didn't really care about anyways. So I'm gonna have to test them. I think they're probably just gonna be a supportive item. But well, we can try them in the jungle as well. But yeah, I think swiftness are still king. Ninja Top is also, they're just very, very good. Nerfing Rod of Ages, this is nice. They're just overall stat nerfing it. I think it makes sense. It's been really prevalent. Armored Advance, okay, so they're buffing the tier 3 boots, so they're just getting cheaper. Okay, they're also nerfing the Forever Forward. So everyone gets put at 500. I think that's good. They were really expensive. I think this is a good change. Slightly nerfing these and these, which is fine. Swift March are getting the same nerf as before. No longer grants 4% total movement speed. Now grants adaptive force equal to total movement. Holy moly, what? These are going to be really nice for Ghostblade Vi. And like, imagine champions like Hecarim. I don't want to, but I think it's going to be really good. What? It's going to be really nice for Assassin. Holy. Like, Talons going Ghostblade, just like ulting, full movement speed, boom, one shot, get extra adaptive force. Based on movement speed. Yeah, that first initial impact is going to feel huge. Yeah, Hecarim is going to be funny with those. That's going to be really interesting. I think they're going to be really good for Assassins. Maybe some mages too, just getting adaptive force, especially those that could like build Cosmic Drive, have a bunch of movement speed, and just like dish damage and kite around like a Nivea with Swift March and Cosmic Drive. Like these kind of champions that can just like play the movement speed, move around, do dish damage with adaptive force. I think that's going to be interesting on like, yeah, mages. Maybe some top laners which abuses speed and using ghost and such might be really good, like Darius. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. yeah, they're using movement speed items as well. It's gonna feel good for like Vi, even with Trinity Force, Black Cleaver, movement speed. It's gonna, they're gonna be moving fast and get extra damage. So that's interesting. They're buffing Ignite, really cool. I actually kind of like that, buffing it late game, because like it's been TP all around, especially for pro play. So we might be seeing some Ignites in pro play. That would be kind of cool. I don't know if it's enough, but it is something. I don't hate this, to be honest. I like the aggressive. Much more, I'd rather play against this than like barrier and exhaust and TP, to be honest. All right. Biscuits of Everlasting Will. That is funny because my name is Everlast and my name is Will. Maybe I need to boost them. 12% to 20 plus 2% max health. Increased up to 100% based on user mything health. Okay, so when you get low, you want to use them, I guess. Extremely low, we're taking a swing at both of these. I see. Interesting. Okay, so unflinching are getting buffed. It makes sense. They haven't been used at all compared to the other ones on that tree. So I think that makes sense. They're just buffing it to 10 at all ranks. It's going to feel like maybe quite nice on champions like Leona, those supportive engaged champions, because they don't really love overgrowth or revitalize, because they don't really spam shields. They don't farm. So I think unflinching is going to be just like better for those engaged supports. I think that's quite nice. Also some other champions that don't really abuse the HP or revitalize that well. Interesting. I don't really look at the ARAM. It's whatever. Augments. What else is there? Bug fixes. I'm not going to read all this. And then you got a bunch of skins, which actually do look kind of nice if you're into that. So there's no Vi skins, so I don't care. Precision locks though. We got the 21st lock skin, no? Insane. Before comms, we got the 21st lock skin. Very interesting. I'm really excited about this patch. I hope you enjoyed this rundown. If you did, make sure to leave a like, because then I'm going to keep doing them and tell you what I think. So overall, I'm quite pleased. I like the bounty changes. I like the rift. The rift. The Akathon is going to be quite cool. I think it looked interesting. I like what they did with the plants. I like what they did with the feature of strength boots, because they haven't felt strong enough. The people haven't even been using them in solo queues because they don't have time, and just like they don't really come into fruition until like super late, and the game should be settled by then, especially when my team is pressing FF all game. I hope the griefing system is going to be nice. I think changing the mages to be a little bit more squishy and get more rewarded for bursting, I think is nice. I think it feels more exciting to play that way. It's so boring to just like die to REWR and just play Andres and just die to items. I feel like it's so uninteractive. I prefer if she hits a nice charm and does a bunch of damage instead. So yeah, I like that overall. I really like the grand change. I liked what they did with the rotations, the smites, the support items. I actually think that is good. Maybe you don't, but anyways, I hope the less griefing, and I hope it's going to be a good season, because this first split was really bad for me, mostly my fault. But yeah, the bounty system, like what they did there, is going to feel smoother, better, more balanced. I think it's going to be more impactful. So look for those bounties, because I think those are going to be broken. Don't go to grubs for 6 minutes, and make sure to play around Drakes, because Drakes is going to be more important now with grubs being weaker overall, and you're not going to have 2 rounds of them. So play the Drake, maybe some more aggressive junglers, and yeah, I hope you're going to enjoy the new season, try some new stuff, get a skin if you want, and I hope to see you guys next time. Enjoy the rest of the day, and see you later. Bye.